You turn the key, and instead of that crisp, clean roar, you get a weak, groaning sound. Maybe the dash lights flicker for a second. That hesitation, that single moment of struggle, is where thousands of dollars in future repairs are often born. Most drivers have no idea that the tiny, innocent habits they repeat every single day are secretly grinding away at their engine's life. These aren't the mistakes that cause an immediate breakdown. They're the silent killers that stack up over time, turning a reliable car into a money pit. Today, we're going to expose the critical startup mistakes that are costing you a fortune, and I'll bet you're making at least one of them. We're going to fix that right now. 1. Giving your battery a split personality. Before you even think about cranking that engine, what else is running in your car? The headlights, the air conditioning blasting, the radio, maybe even the seat warmers? If you're starting your car with all that stuff on, you're basically asking your battery to fight a war on two fronts, and it's a battle it will eventually lose. The starter motor requires a massive surge of electrical power to turn over a heavy, cold engine. It's the single biggest electrical draw in your entire vehicle. When you have all your accessories running at the same time, they are also pulling power, fighting the starter motor for every last drop of juice. This forces the battery into a state of extreme stress, which means the engine turns over slower and harder. The real victims here are your starter motor and your battery. The starter is forced to operate under a heavy load for longer, leading to premature burnout. The battery gets drained more deeply with each start, which dramatically shortens its overall lifespan. The solution is laughably simple, yet so many people ignore it. Before you turn that key or push that button, do a quick systems check. Turn off the headlights, kill the climate control, and shut down the radio. Let your battery focus all its energy on its one most important job. Once the engine is running smoothly and the alternator has taken over the electrical load, then you can turn everything back on. This tiny 2-second habit can save you hundreds of dollars on a new battery and starter down the road.
2. The Goldilocks dilemma: cranking too much or not enough. The actual act of cranking the engine is a bit of a Goldilocks situation for many drivers. They either do it for too short a time or for way too long, and both are wrong. You have the impatient types who flick the key for a second, and if the engine doesn't immediately fire, they let go and try again and again. This start-stop-start approach is brutal on your components. It prevents the starter motor from reaching its optimal speed and can flood the cylinders with unburnt fuel, making the next start even harder. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the person who holds the key in the start position for what feels like an eternity, 15, maybe even 20 seconds, praying the engine will catch. This is a death sentence for your starter motor. It will overheat rapidly, you'll smell that distinct burning electronics smell, and you'll drain your battery at an astonishing rate. If you do this regularly, you're not just wearing out the starter, you're actively cooking it to death. The correct method is about patience and listening to your car. Turn the key or press the button and hold it for a maximum of about 10 seconds. Give the engine a fair chance to fire up. If it doesn't catch within that time, stop. Let go of the key and wait for at least 30 seconds. This gives the starter motor a crucial chance to cool down and allows the battery to recover a bit of its charge. If it still won't start after a second attempt, the problem isn't how long you're cranking, it's something else. You could have an issue with your glow plugs, your fuel delivery, or compression. Remember, the start sequence should be a firm, confident 10-second attempt, not a series of nervous taps or a desperate, prolonged grind.
3. Ignoring the engine's wake-up call. Whether you have an old-school key or a modern push-to-start button, one of the most common mistakes is rushing the process. You jump in, turn the key straight to start in one single fast motion. What you're missing is the most important pause in your car's daily routine. When you first turn the key to the on position or press the button without your foot on the brake to enter accessory mode, you should hear a faint whirring or buzzing sound, usually from the back of the car. That's your fuel pump priming the system. It's building up the precise amount of pressure needed in the fuel lines so the injectors can deliver a fine, atomized mist of fuel the moment you crank the engine. If you bypass this step and go straight to crank, the fuel pressure isn't ready. The engine is forced to turn over while the pump is still struggling to catch up. This leads to a rough start, stumbling, and puts unnecessary strain on both your starter and your battery because the engine has to crank longer before it can fire. The right way to do it is to make it a two-step process. 1. Turn the key to on and pause. Count to 3. Listen for that pump. It's your car's heartbeat before the roar. 2. Now turn the key the rest of the way to start the engine. This tiny 3 to 5 second delay ensures your fuel system is perfectly pressurized, giving you a cleaner, faster, and healthier start every single time. It's a small habit that protects your entire fuel system in the long run.
4. The cold engine rev bomb. This one is a classic, and it's one of the most mechanically unsympathetic things you can do to your car. You start the engine on a cold morning, and the first thing you do is blip the throttle, sending the RPMs soaring. Many people think this helps warm up the engine faster, but you're actually doing the exact opposite. You're causing serious long-term damage. When an engine has been sitting, all the oil has drained down into the oil pan at the bottom. The moment you start it, the oil pump begins the critical job of sending that oil back up through the engine's narrow passageways to lubricate all the moving metal parts. This process takes a few seconds. When you rev a cold engine, you're putting immense force and speed on internal components like pistons, bearings, and especially the turbocharger before they have a protective layer of oil. It's like sprinting at full speed the second you wake up without even stretching. Cold engine oil is also thick, like cold honey. It doesn't flow easily, so its lubricating properties are terrible. Revving the engine just forces cold, unlubricated metal parts to grind against each other. This causes microscopic scoring and wear that over thousands of starts adds up to a tired, oil-burning engine. The proper technique is to exercise mechanical patience. Start the engine and then take your foot off the gas. Let it sit at its natural idle for at least 20 to 30 seconds. Don't touch the throttle. This gives the oil pump just enough time to build pressure and circulate that life-saving oil throughout the entire engine before you put any load on it.
5. The great idle debate: too little or too much. This is where nearly everyone gets it wrong, and it's a direct result of old, outdated advice clashing with modern engine technology. The big mistake is what you do immediately after the engine has been running for about 30 seconds. You have two camps, and both are causing harm. In the first camp, you have the drive it away immediately crowd. They start the car and within seconds put it in gear and drive off. While this avoids some of the problems of long idling, it puts the engine and transmission under load when they are still stone cold. The oil hasn't reached its optimal operating temperature and viscosity, meaning lubrication is still not 100% effective. This causes accelerated wear on everything from the turbo bearings to the main crank bearings and valve train. In the other camp, you have the let it warm up forever crowd. These drivers start their car and let it idle in the driveway for 5, 10, even 15 minutes, thinking they are being gentle with it. This is incredibly destructive to a modern engine. Engines are designed to operate efficiently under load, not at idle. Extended idling leads to incomplete fuel combustion, which causes heavy carbon deposits to form on your valves, pistons, and inside your exhaust gas recirculation, or EGR system. For diesel owners, it's even worse, as it prevents your diesel particulate filter, or DPF, from getting hot enough to perform its self-cleaning regeneration cycle, leading to a clogged filter and a very expensive repair bill. The correct approach is the balanced middle path. Start the engine, let it idle for about 30 to 60 seconds, maybe up to 90 seconds in freezing weather. This is enough time for oil pressure to stabilize. Then start driving, but do it gently. Keep the RPMs low, avoid hard acceleration, and don't lug the engine until your temperature gauge reaches its normal operating position.
6. The compound interest of engine wear. None of these habits on their own will kill your engine tomorrow. You can start your car with the AC on or drive off immediately, and it will seem fine. The danger here isn't a single event. It's the power of compound interest working against you. Every time you make one of these small mistakes, you're depositing a tiny amount of wear and tear into your engine's account. Over 5 or 10 years, those tiny deposits compound into a massive debt of worn-out parts and staggering repair bills. This is the fundamental difference between an engine that feels tired and starts burning oil at 93,000 miles and one that runs like a top all the way to 250,000 miles and beyond. The health of your engine is the sum of thousands of tiny decisions you make every time you get behind the wheel. Protecting your engine isn't about some secret, expensive maintenance trick. It's about respecting the simple mechanical principles of pressure, lubrication, and temperature every single time you start it. These habits cost you nothing but a few extra seconds of your time, but the return on that investment is a car that is more reliable, safer, and saves you a tremendous amount of money over its lifetime. And that pretty much wraps it up. These habits are small, but they really are the foundation of a long and healthy life for your engine. If you found this useful and maybe learned something that will save you some cash, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. In the next video, we're going to dive even deeper into engine care and vehicle safety. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.